reader to start now. Prayer reader.
Nor.
Nor, can you lead the prayer? Okay, Nor, there's no response from Nor. May I ask, Miles, can you lead the prayer,
Where?
Miles? I sorry, Miles. I sorry, Nor. Nor, are you there?
Yes, Jan, you share. Let us put ourselves in the holy presence of God. Please make the sign of the cross. Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for the blessings that you have given to us. Sorry for the sins that we have committed against you. Please guide Teacher Leah as she teaches us our new lesson. Amen.
Okay. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Kindly click the raise hand button if you are online and if you can hear me clearly. Kindly click that. Okay, great. Great. So in today's session, we will be having our new lesson. So let me just verify if we're done already with the beggar and the king. Are we done with the beggar and the king? Yes, okay. So in today's session, we will have our new lesson in continuation of the beggar and the king. So we have learned that the beggar and the king is written by Winthrop Parkhurst and it is a play, right? So in today's session, we will identify the different characteristics of a one-act play. Second, identify also the elements of the play, the beggar and the king. Third, answer tasks or answer a quiz about the elements of a play. So I have a question to start this new lesson. Have you watched or have you seen a play before the pandemic? Okay, the last play I attended was when I was in grade seven, and the title of the play is was the beggar. I mean, the Lion King. So, is there any play that you can remember? Any play that you have seen from from school, or maybe a play that you have joined and you were one of the actors or one of the actresses? Can you remember any plays that you have seen before? Ira,
The
Joseph,
same.
and the Technicolor Dreamcoat. What is that? When you were in grade seven, or when you were in grade school? Ah, it's a musical. Yes. Okay. Grade school. So that's great. So in today's session, we will be learning about the elements of a play. So we have here a definition of a play, but not the play in general. Generally, diba, or basically, if you will say play, what comes into your mind is that these are the actors and the actresses um, having their drama on stage. With the stage is well designed, diba? With people or with the characters, with their memorized lines and speeches. But plays can be categorized into two. We have one act play and then the full length play. So let's start first with the one act play. A one act play is a short piece of drama that consists of only one act. So it usually has one or more scenes but does not exceed one act. Each short, this is very short. That is why it is called as one act play. As the name suggests, diba? It is named as one act play because it only consists of one act. So what are the features of a one act play, or what makes it really different with the full length play? So some common characteristics of most one act plays are that they are written in a concise manner. Meaning to say, though it is written in a way that is something really brief or concise, but all the necessary or the important elements of a play are present. Um, to be clear, dili lang yun importante, but all of the elements of a play are present. So they have fewer characters than a full-length play. Most often, there is a single setting, and the action begins right at the start of the play. As said, for a one-act play, time is limited, diba? The best analogy I can give for us to see really the difference between a one act play and a full length play is that a one act play is like a movie. Meron siya an hour or two only of a narrative. Whereas if we say series, diba? A series can be um more than 5 seasons, right? It can have first, second, third, fourth, and the list must um may end until 10. So that's an example, or that's the best analogy I can give for us to see the difference between a one-act play and a full-length play. Kumbaga, ang full-length play, lengthy siya, as the name suggests, di ba, full length. Lengthy siya, there can be some characters that you have not seen in the first season, which will come out sa second, sa third, and the following seasons. So same goes also with a full-length play. So going back again with a one-act play, one-act play is concise and there are no breaks in the action. So they have fewer characters because there's no much time for the director or for the actors to present other characters since time is limited. Okay? So now let's begin with the first element of a play, which is the theme. So same goes also with the story, right? So a story must have a theme. So if you have any plans to become an author or a director of a play, before you hold the pen for you to write the dialogue, for you to write the setting, the very first thing that you must have is the theme. It refers to the message of a one act play, or in other words, the central idea. So the one act needs to have a theme or thought, just as a full length does. So if there's no theme, if there's no central idea, if there's no message that you can give, there's no story at all, right? Wala story. What's the purpose of you writing this if you don't have any idea that you would like to convey? So you must have an exact theme for your piece, for your play. You want it to this. Do you want your play to be about revenge? Do you want a play that will discuss about self-discovery, self-love, jealousy, revenge, and so on and so forth? So there could be a lot of concepts that you can use as your theme, right? So whatever your choice, it needs to be clear in your mind that what um, that is your theme. So in a full-length play, all characters, plots, and subplots need to point to and support the theme. So the one act is not much different, except that the subplots will likely be absent. So as what I have said a while ago, one act play has a limited time only. We have no limited job, but all of the elements are present. But for as for plot, there could be some other subplots or some other scenarios which um, will not be anymore added since it's not really that necessary. So, going back to the beggar and the king, what is the central idea of that play? Does it discuss about revenge? Does it talk about love, about freedom? What do you think? What can you remember? What is the theme of the beggar and the king? Anyone? Yes, anyone. What is the theme in The Beggar and the King? Yes, pride. What else? What are the concepts presented in The Beggar and the King? Aside from pride, diba? Um,
Rich and the Poacher.
the rich and the poor. What else? Pride and power, exactly. Thank you so much to those who answered. So these are the two major themes or the major central ideas for the beggar and the king. We have pride and abuse of power. So second now we have here plot is the second element of a play. So plot is this is the same element for a story, di ba? Plot refers to the sequence or the arrangement of the events, which will come first, what will happen next, which will come second, third, fourth, last, the resolution, and how will the story end, or how will the narrative end. So in a one-act play, there is only time for one significant event. One significant event lang ita ang one-act play. Since again, time is limited and it has to be very concise. So, um, There's no room for other unnecessary events. You should only pick one significant event for your one act play. So this is the determining place for the hero where all is won or lost. So events that lead up to this must be incorporated into the script without the benefit of audience seeing them. And any events that follow must be inferred or understood by the audience that they will were. So plot in short, this is the sequence of events or the arrangements of the narration. Okay? So now going back again to the one to the beggar and the king. What is the plot in the beggar of the king? Or let's have the recalling of the events in that play. So how did the story or how did the play open? The play opens with whom? The beggar, the king. What happened first? Anyone? What happened first? Let's discuss about the plot or the arrangement of the events. Say pinaka-first na happen. Yes? Jade, do you have an answer? Yes, Marina. Um, the beggar begging for bread. So the play opens with the beggar begging to the king while the king is annoyed. Very good. And then what's the next thing that happened? So the king was annoyed because of this beggar crying for bread. What's the next thing that happened? He ordered his servant to, yes, I hope you will be the one to narrate this. Yes? To send away the beggar, right? Yang ipapahawa ang beggar. But then, yes, to punish him. To take the beggar away. Very good. But then, the beggar went back even louder. Diba? Even louder asking for the same thing, which is for bread because he was hungry or he is hungry. And then, what's the next thing that the king did? For the second time, he punished the beggar. He informed or he ordered his servant to lash or gag the beggar. So nawala ng beggar, but then he went back again even louder this time for the third time around, di ba? Mas loud na siya karon. And so still the king was still very annoyed. He asked his soldiers to cut off the tongue of the beggar. But then, di ba? Ibalik yapon siya. Still, nahappen yapon siya. The beggar went back again, still begging for bread. But some of the analysis of the play suggest that it is not anymore the beggar who is asking for bread, but it was the conscience of the king, diba? Because of what he did. So that's it. Indeed, the beggar represents the king's downfall. The beggar proves that the king only has power when his servants allow him to. By removing the king's power over his servants, the beggar promises to hunt the king and therefore humble him. So what this um, line suggests, the beggar proves that the king only has power when his servants allow him to. So if that's why the beggar, diba? The beggar in return ordered the king to put down or to throw away his throne as a sign of, giving up his throne because the beggar knows it himself really well that the king is only powerful because people are allowing him to be powerful by submitting themselves to the king. So by removing the king's power over his servants, the beggar promises to hunt the king and therefore humble him. So that's it. Now, let's discuss about characters. So characters is the next element of a play. Just like a story, di ba, we have to have characters. So if we cannot use, in a story, if we cannot use people or human beings as our characters, we can use animals, right? We can use cartoon characters. We can use objects as our characters just to have a story or the story, just to keep the story going, right? So same goes also with play. But with play, we have to have human beings. Okay, no one will present. Um, no one can act the story or like the narration if we will not choose people. Kita man ang mag-act bisod sa animals ang mag-act sa stage, right? So characters This is one of the most important elements of a one act play. So this refers to the people acting in the play. So there is only enough time to get to know this one character well. The hero. Again, the time is limited for a one act play, so there's no room for other characters to be introduced. So I think one or two characters lang ang well represented in the play. But again, there are still some other characters that you can use. But one lang ang spotlight. Okay? Since time is um, limited for this play. So in the short time that the one act play is going, it is the hero's event, siya ang spotlight that the audience is experiencing. So again, there is not time for more than that. Some characteristics of the supporting characters, including the antagonist, will need to be portrayed for the story to move forward, of course. But it is the character of the protagonist that is a vital to the story line. Okay, I hope that's clear. So now let's go back again to the beggar and the king. Who are the characters in that play? Can you tell me who are the characters? Anyone? I hope you're still listening. Yes, the king, the servant, and the beggar. Exactly. Now let's have here the next element, which is the dialogue. So the dialogue refers to the lines or speech between characters in a play. So each line must be crafted carefully to focus on the theme. So if you are planning to write your own play, you are planning to become an author of a play, when you craft your lines or the speech of each character of your play, you need to always go back to your theme. So, if you think this line is unnecessary, if it does not contribute to the overall theme of your play, better not include that one. So, any lines that do not point to the focus of the play should be carefully considered whether they are needed or not. So, here's an example of a dialogue. You have here the lines of the beggar, the king, and the servant. So may I ask three students from this class to read to us the lines of these three characters? We need one for the beggar, one for the king, and another one for the servant. So who would like to read the line of the beggar? Beggar has one line only. Then the king has two, I know three, and the servant has two lines. Can you anyone who would like to volunteer? Who would like to read the line of the beggar? May I ask Mar Rupert Laborada? Is it fine with you?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Si Gab daw. Gab, can you read the line of the king? Gab?
Yes, sure.
And then Lawrence, can you read the lines of the servants? Ah, yeah, you don't have microphone. Sige, let's ask na lang, let's say, Pauline. Pauline? Pauline? Can you read the lines of the servant? Pauline? Okay. Can you read the lines of the servant? All of the lines of the servants. The servant without S. Can you? Hello? Okay, sige. So let's start now. 3, 2, 1. Lights, camera, action.
Bread, bread, bread. Give me some bread.
Who is that crying in the street for bread? Why does he cry for bread? I do not like the voice of I do not like the sound of his voice. It annoys me very much. Send him away.
Okay, thank you so much, class. Thank you so much, Mar, Pauline, and Gab. So these lines here serve as examples of dialogue. Okay. Now next, let's have setting. So setting refers to the time and geographic location within the play. So the setting of a drama presented on stage must be adapted to the limitations of the stage area. What is meant here in this explanation here is when you write the setting or when you are writing your own play, you need to consider the capacity of a stage, diba? Since you will be directing a play, you will be writing a play, diba? You need to consider the stage. So if mag-think ka, what will this play be all about? When will this, in what specific place will this happen? So if you think ka sa purgatory, achievable ba ni siya? Can the people, can the actors and actresses do something to make the stage more like a purgatory? So when you write that one, you need to have that in detail, which we will be discussing later for the stage directions. But again, for setting, for writing your setting, you need to make sure that it is something that the stage can adopt or the stage can achieve, right? So the playwright must confine his locations to scenes that can be constructed on the stage and limited to as a few changes as possible. So it is this physical confinement that makes writing plays more difficult than any other narrative form. So what is the setting and the beggar and the king? Can you tell me where and when did the story happen? Yes? Anyone? Isa? Within the kingdom. Yes, that's correct, but we have here a more detailed answer. So it happened in a chamber in the palace overlooks a courtyard. The season is midsummer. The windows of the palace are open, and from a distance there comes the sound of a man's voice crying for bread. So if you will be directing a play, you know exactly how to design your stage. So what's the design of your stage? Dapat it will look like the characters really are in a palace, right? Or in a kingdom. And then, how must the atmosphere be? Dapat season niya is midsummer. So if you have the lights, if you have the materials that you can use in doing your play, di ba? You can use lights that can emphasize that the season is indeed midsummer. And then the windows of the palace are open. Simple as that. Okay? So now we're down to the last element, which is the stage direction. As what I have said, in writing a play, writers must write with some instructions to help the characters in delivering the lines. So this refers to an instruction written into the script of a play indicating stage directions, movements of performers, production requirements. Stage directions must determine the actor's movement, choice of costumes, as well as the behavior of characters and interpretations of their speeches. So it's very clear. It's very clear and easy to identify the instructions because these are written in an open and closed parenthesis, such as these, diba? The beggar, you have here the word or the instruction outside, meaning to say, na daw sa gawas ang beggar. So the beggar must be outside. Next, the king languidly. So how should we read this one? Considering that there's an instruction here that the king must read this languidly. If we say languidly, meaning weak or spiritless na pagkastorya. So the king, who was that king who read this line? That was Mar, right?
Yeah,
Is it
we'll
you, Mar?
prepare.
I know Gab. Sorry. So Gab, since here's an instruction or direction here, languidly, can you read to the class this line?
Sure, Hallinator.
Languidly. Say languidly ka ng spiritless. Consider, please take note ha, the servant is gapaypay siya sa imuha kamulo and then you will say this. Kasi languidly ka na pinagmurag pagumata or katulkon nga pagkastorya. Sige. Kindly read.
Try lang ako, sure.
I don't know. Kanang
Di ko
sleepy
sure.
ka. Go.
Who is that crying in the street for bread? I'm not sure.
Yes, exactly. Something like that. Okay. The instruction here is languidly. So what I'm saying here is that if you will be acting something on stage, you can look for specific stage directions and how you must deliver it properly. Are we clear with that? I hope that's clear. And yes, here are some more stage directions, diba? So roaring at him, you need to say um, shouting. And then the servant goes out. So there are really exact or clear instructions on how to present the lines on stage. Okay? So that's it. Now let's have here the last question. What is the difference between a one-act play and a full-length play? If you can still remember my analogy, diba? Or the best example I can give. A one-act play is like a movie. 1 hour or two only. The narrative's a story. Whereas full-length play is like a series. Taas kay siya. Like in one season, there are 10 episodes. So that's an example of full-length play. Taas-taas siya. One-act play short but concise, but with all the elements of the play. Same goes also with full length play. It has all the elements, only that it's kind of lengthy, it requires breaks, and it has numerous characters. Any questions or clarifications, class? Questions, clarifications? If you don't have any questions, kindly click the raise hand button. Again, if you don't have any questions, kindly click the raise hand button. Kindly click, 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 click. Let me see who are truly listening. Okay, 14 out of 19. Meaning to say 5 here are already sleeping. 15, still waiting for the 4 others or 2 others. Okay, I think that's enough. Time check, it's already 4:39 p.m. If you have no more questions, let's answer this quiz. So while I will be publishing this quiz, I want you to review your notes since we will be answering a quiz for the elements of a one-act play. All right. Kindly check what's on my screen, class. Kindly check what's on my screen. Kindly answer G9E and GQ30B. Elements of a one-act play quiz. You have until 5:05 to answer this quiz. Be sure that before you will leave this meeting, you will answer this quiz. Thank you. Hello, class. To those who are done, you may then leave this meeting. Thank you.